Ever wondered why people say piss poor? Here's the popular story behind it, and it's kinda gross. Back in the old days, poor families collected urine in jars and buckets because tanneries used it to treat animal hides. So people could sell their pee to make a few coins. And if you were so broke you had to do that, you were piss poor. And if you didn't even have a container to collect it, you didn't have a pot to piss in. So the phrase stuck as a way to say extremely painfully poor. If you've ever said, "I'm knackered," you basically just called yourself a horse. Yeah, because knacker wasn't originally about being tired. A knacker was the person who took away old or dead animals, especially horses, to a knacker's yard. So if something was knackered, it meant worn out, finished, done for. So I'm knackered now just means I'm absolutely exhausted. Next time you're shattered, remember, you're not just tired, you're knackered. Ever wondered why we say bite the bullet when we're nervous? Today it means face the painful thing and get it done. No delays, no excuses. The phrase comes from old battlefield medicine. Before proper anaesthetics, soldiers sometimes had to endure surgery fully awake. To stop them screaming and to help them get through it, medics would give them something to clench between their teeth. And the story goes, sometimes that something was a bullet. So when you bite the bullet, you're basically saying, this is going to hurt, but I'm doing it anyway. Ever wondered why we say mad as a hatter? It's not from Alice in Wonderland, and the real reason is kind of terrifying. Back in the 1800s, hat makers used a chemical to turn fur into felt, and that chemical was mercury. Breathing mercury over time can damage your brain and nervous system, and some hatters developed shaking hands, anxiety, mood swings, and confusion. People saw it happening and started saying they'd gone mad. So mad as a hatter wasn't a joke, it was basically workplace poisoning. We say Bob's your uncle to mean easy, job done. But the Bob is real, and it links to a famous bit of political nepotism. If something works out perfectly, you'll hear, Bob's your uncle. It's widely linked to 1887, when Prime Minister Lord Salisbury, first name Robert, aka Bob, gave his nephew Arthur Balfour a major job. The joke was basically, of course you're doing well, Bob's your uncle, meaning you've got the right connection, so it's going to be easy. So when Brits say it today, they mean, it's simple, it's sorted, it's done. Did you know the saying, saved by the bell, might not mean what you think? Some people say it comes from Victorian times, when people were so afraid of being buried alive that bells were attached to coffins, and if you rang one, you were literally saved by the bell. It sounds creepy, but there's no real proof. The real origin comes from boxing. In old prize fights, if a boxer was about to be knocked out, the bell ending the round could save them by giving them time to recover. So while the coffin story is spooky, the phrase actually comes from the ring, not the grave. Ever wondered where the phrase paint the town red actually comes from? Most people use it to mean going out partying hard, but the original story is far more literal. Back in 1837, in England, a young aristocrat known as the Marquis of Waterford went out drinking with his friends, and after a heavy night, they didn't just cause trouble, they literally painted buildings, doors and signs red across the town. The night became infamous, and the phrase stuck. So today, when someone says they're going to paint the town red, it means going out, celebrating wildly, and causing a little chaos along the way. Why does quarantine mean isolation, and why is it tied to 40 days? The term comes from Italian/Venetian usage, rooted in quaranta, 40, and is linked to plague-era port rules, where ships had to wait before anyone could come ashore. In the late 1300s, the Republic of Ragusa, modern Dubrovnik, used an earlier 30-day isolation period, sometimes described as a Trentino, and later the 40-day practice became widely associated with major ports such as Venice. This all happened centuries before germ theory. These rules were built from hard-earned experience with outbreaks, not modern microbiology. Why do we say, we've seen better days? You say it when life's a mess, but you don't want to sound dramatic. Flat tire, bad haircut, your team loses 3-0 and your bank balance is looking tragic. But here's the weird part, it's not modern slang, it's Shakespeare. In As You Like It, a character basically admits, yeah, life used to be easier than this. And that's exactly why the phrase hits. It's a classy way of saying we're struggling, but we're still standing. It's stuck because it's funny, it's polite, and it works for anything. People, places, even your kettle. Be honest, what's something in your life that's seen better days? You know when something works instantly, and you go, hey presto, but why do we say that? It's basically an old school way of saying, ta-da! The key is the word presto. It's Italian for quick. So the phrase literally carries that done in a flash energy. And that's why magicians loved it. They'd say, hey presto, right as the trick happened. So it sounded like a spell and made the moment feel even more magical. Why do we say kick the bucket when someone dies? In older English, bucket could refer to a wooden beam or yoke, not just the thing you carry water in. One popular explanation is tied to hangings. The person would be standing on some kind of support, and when that support was kicked away, the hanging happened. So, kick the bucket became a dark, blunt way to say someone died.